Hello, hello. The doc is in, and welcome back to another chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 262, completed edition. I'm not going to explain why I've been gone, but we will talk about what happened in the chapter previous to the last two, which is taking course over the course of a month. Basically, Dodo and Yuji put the beats on Sukuna. Sukuna's putting a fucking twister by Boogie Woogie. But he's about to turn the tables, right? Yuji's going for his heart. Sukuna's got him in close. It really could go anywhere. I believe Sukuna was potentially going to do another domain, but a certain person showed up. Gojo. Or so we thought until we are revealed the scars across his forehead, revealing that his body was taken by none other than the one who will go far enough, Yuta Ogotsu. And they both activate their domains, and that's where we leave off before chapter 262. And now we can get into the chapter. So, as previously mentioned, domain expansion. Unlimited Void versus Malevolent Shrine once more. But, you see, Gojo had figured out how to beat Malevolent Shrine before he died. But basically, as Yuta explains, using a smaller domain basically makes it so that then the outside is very durable, so that then Malevolent Shrine has a hard time breaking into the domain, making it so that then inside the domain, all that needs to happen is for Gojo to beat up Sukuna enough to make him release his domain, which allows his domain to either one, win, or two, at least dissipate at the same time as his. Which, it's a very fair thing to do. It gives him 3 minutes to win this out. And considering how Gojo was able to beat up Sukuna pretty easily with using, the Limitless and, his barrier and everything, for him, this made perfect sense. But as we see through this chapter, it's a little bit difficult for Yuta to pull off, right? And Sukuna, in the meantime, also theorizes based on, the situation. He's basically like, oh yeah, he's probably got 3 minutes of durability in there, but it doesn't even matter because I'll just maximize my own technique to do more damage. And in that time that he has of durability on his domain, I'll just kick his ass, right? So the fight begins. Gojo. Yuta uses blue, pulls Sukuna in, but Sukuna was ready for this. He gets in close, he goes for a punch, punches Yuta twice in the face. Yuta then realizes, oh shit, he used domain amplification to bypass infinity, which surprisingly Yuta doesn't know about. As we know, when you switch bodies, you get the memories of the body you're in, yada yada yada. So it's interesting that he didn't know that Sukuna could use domain amplification and domain expansion at the same time. But as we'll later find, it seems that the way you get the memories is not that you instantly know every single thing as if it was your own memories. But you kind of gotta go through the memories to know the stuff. Kind of like, I guess you could say, like a book. Like, you gotta read each page to know everything. You can get general stuff, and theoretically, if you know what you're looking for, I imagine, you can pinpoint that particular memory. But because of the fact that the domain amplification and domain expansion tandem use was only done within domains, somewhere where none of the other characters could see, he wouldn't have even known to think that that was a thing that Sukuna could do, which is why he got punched at first, right? So from there, they continue their fight in the next chapter. So, well, not next chapter, but part 2 of the chapter specifically mentioned that this was basically during Gege's break, a couple of weeks. This second half is where the chapter was actually supposed to end and whatnot in all of 262. So it's not 263 technically, but it is 263. Nonetheless, though, we get to see Riko holding Yuta's dead body in the end of 262 part 1 and the first page of 262 part 5, part 2. There's a lot. Anyway, second half. Alright, so Sukuna goes in for another attack, but this time Yuta dodges, grapples Sukuna and throws him to the floor, but Sukuna's able to somewhat recover, and instead of falling directly onto his back, he instead flips over to fall on his front, but braces himself with his hands. Yuta then kicks him away, and so from there, basically we get Yuta pondering, okay, well, not pondering, but basically detailing in his head, like, okay, here are my losses, here are his losses. Sukuna, no world-cutting slash. He's missing arms, the arms necessary to do the world-cutting slash, so I shouldn't need to worry about that. Therefore, meaning that without implication, he has no other tricks up his sleeve, or at least no other ways to bypass Infinity. On the other hand, well, no more Rika, because Rika's not haunting Gojo's body, she's haunting Yuta's body. Therefore, it is important that we see Rika hanging out with Yuta's body and crying, because that means there is no more Rika. We'll talk more about this in a second, but for now, not good. Trade-off. Yuta has nothing else to show, nothing else to hide, but neither does Sukuna. And so from there, we have Yuta going, and he's like, he has the advantage, right? He goes for a punch, but it seems like he messed up a little bit. Even Sukuna kind of notices, like, that's weird. And so Yuta thinks, damn, I misjudged the distance. And so basically he realized, like, you know, Gojo's just like a bigger, taller person. So the range and like the lankiness of Gojo is something that he has to get used to, and considering that he was only able to switch bodies with Gojo one time, he has not gotten used to, one, using his physicals, and like, you know, you can ignore the amount of strength he has, but at least like the distance he has to work with is different. And then he also points out that like without the 6 eyes, like Infinity is like fucking hard to use, which, I mean, it makes sense, but it's just like, damn, Yuta really didn't gain much in the body swap at all, besides like just not dying. By this point, Sukuna takes full notice of it, and then takes advantage because, well, you know, Yuta's in thought like, damn, Gojo really was the GOAT, because he was the GOAT. And Sukuna's like, we're in the middle of a fight, and swings on him, right? Sends Yuta flying, and he starts thinking like, damn, yeah, Yuta don't got those 6 eyes. He doesn't seem to have his copy techniques, or at the very least, he's not using them for some reason. And even if he did have the ability to use them, I already know what he got available to use, so he might just be cooked. Sukuna fodder. Then he thinks, you know what? What if he decides to use purple? It's like, damn. You're right. If you get hit with purple, you're dead. You're dead. So, from there, you're just thinking like, well, after going through Gojo's memories, which I was referencing earlier about the whole going through the body's memories rather than just automatically having their memories, Yuta's like, he starts using the chance for purple. He's like, yeah, I'm not fucking in one of these. And so, for every person who I've ever had to debate with who's been like, yeah, Gojo, if he was flying ultimately would just went from range and then just started shooting blues and purples at him, or reds and stuff. I'm like, are you stupid? Why would Sukuna let him shoot those? And as we see, Yuta tries to, he's like, oh, I'm gonna use the purple. And Sukuna, as he should, smacks his hand with one of the stub hands and then punches Yuta in the face. Because what are we actually doing? Anyway, I had to get that off my chest. I had too many debates where someone's been like, oh, but what if he shoots from range? Like, it's not fucking happening. Nonetheless, though, right? So, Sukuna does not let that happen. It's basically like, yeah, there's no way I'm gonna give you a chance to actually shoot that off. Like, no. Right? And from there, Yuta enacts a secret plan. A very simple plan. A plan so goddamn simple yet effective that no one saw this coming. Blue. Don't move. Inumaki. Who would have thought her speech from Inumaki would be the key to beating Sukuna? Layers upon layers of deceit. Inumaki shreds his freaking vocal cords, but he gets Sukuna to not move. In exchange, Yuta takes that time to use 9 points, polarized light, Crow and Shimoya, the gap between within and without, follow technique, purple. End of chapter. Good chapter. Well, good 2 chapters? Nah, who cares? Point is, this is really good. But I'm also not delusional. I don't think this kills Sukuna. Just because I just feel like you should get the last hit. So I don't feel like this can hit. But on the other hand, I'm like, this is a good plan. Because Sukuna did not see this coming. And he generally is stopped. So I'm not sure how Sukuna gets out of this one. I'm hoping Gege has a good explanation that isn't just finding vows or, man, it's so great that inexplicably Yuta ran out of time to use the purple because, I don't know, the vein broke, or what would be the other thing, or the time limit on using Kenjaku's curse technique is over, or some nonsense like that. Like any combination of some bullshit. All right, I want something good as far as explanation. Outside of that, though, I like this. I think that the complete 262 definitely puts more respect on Yuta's name, because 262 Part 1 made Yuta look like such a bomb for such into Gojo's body. Like, it's really the main expansion, first set of hands, and Sukuna, with who I believe he has both his good hands are on the same side, if I'm correct. So let's say 2 left hands is losing against a fully healed, up to bat Yuta. Like, that shit didn't make any sense. So that was crazy. But in completion, it's like, okay, this makes a lot of sense. You get the explanation about the whole, the length of the body, and, the whole, like, oh yeah, this body is not my own, and he's like a completely different body type from me. So yes, it is a little bit of a learning curve to, like, use everything he has available to him the way that would be most effective. And the part about, like, not really knowing how to use Infinity correctly and all that stuff, I think that's all good. Definitely made Yuta look better. I love the inclusion of characters who are not able to literally fight Sukuna, but still having a part to play in, like, actually, winning this fight. And, Inumaki being able to freeze Sukuna and everything. I think that's good. I also like that they point out that, Inumaki basically, like, blows his curse technique out trying to do this. So it makes it like then, like, anybody who's like, well, if Inumaki could do this whole time, or powered up so much that he could freeze the King of Curses, why didn't he do it from, like, well before? Because it's a one-shot move, and realistically, if it fucks up or fails, then you guys can never use that again. Which is more of a reason to save it for later. Makes sense. Looking forward to next chapter. No break next week, so it should be fun. Alright, that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe and watch the videos on the right. Other than that, the doc is out. Bye.